Hello and welcome to another tutorial by moi. Yours truly, David Burt. I'm going to analyze the popular late 60s song by composer Burt Bacharach, made famous by the Fifth Dimensions and Dionne Warwick, song entitled One Last Bell to Answer. The harmony and the melody are well crafted, not over the top. But what's interesting is when we get into the bridge, the various key changes that take place, and we want to take a closer look at that. No, you won't find the key changes in the music itself. They're short, but they're there nonetheless. Anyway, enough chit-chat, let's get to it. Okay, one last bell to answer. Let's see if we can unravel some of its secrets. I do it in the key of F. The Fifth Dimension, I believe, did it in D. It has a kind of a standard introduction. I start with an F add 2 and go into a blues 4 chord. Normally it's a major 7, that's a 4 chord, but it gives it a little more bite with the dominant 7th. Then we just have a diatonic walk down from the 4 chord. So that's a 4 to a 3 to a 2 and down to a 1. And a repeat. I tend to put in a F major 9 augmented 11 chord at that point. That's just me, and walk it back down again. Okay, here we go. So we start on the 1 chord, move down to the 6 chord, not surprisingly to the 4 chord, into a suspension here. When I resolve it out, we have what we call tonicization. We're on the root of the 3 chord, but because it's dominant, there's a tritone here, and I have now made it a 5 chord, a 5 of D minor. D minor is a 6 chord in F, so we would call that the 5 of 6. Not surprisingly, it goes to the 6 chord. Again, another tonicization here. I've got a G7, and again, the 2 chord of F should be G minor, but it's tonicized, again, creating this tritone, which is going to normally push me up to the 5 chord. However, Bacharach decides to go back to the 2 chord and walk it up. And around again. Suspension again. Here I am on the 5 of the 6 chord. And here Bacharach goes completely different than what you'd expect. He does what we call an abrupt modulation and literally just jumps into the key of G flat. Some arrangers will set up a 5 chord into that and do something like this. I sometimes like to approach the G flat chord through a G7 chord, which actually becomes a flat 2, sharing the same tritones. Sharing the same tritones as the D flat chord, and then let it drop onto the G flat. Sounds like this. So he goes from the 1 chord in G flat to the 3 chord. Not surprisingly, to the 4 chord. Jumps back to the root of the 3 chord, but again, tonicization with the suspension. He doesn't release it right away. He uses this as a 5 into a new key, totally divorced from F where we started, into E flat. resolves it at the last moment, and into the new key, E flat major. Not surprisingly, it goes up to the 3 chord again. So we have continuity there between the G flat going up to the 3 chord there. Here we have the same thing here. And takes it on up to the 4 chord, the A flat major 7. Back down to the 3 chord. A quick 1 chord, first inversion. Back up to the 4 chord. To the 3 chord. Back to the 1 chord. First inversion. And now a suspension. G7 being the 5 of C7, which is of course the 5 chord in F. We're getting closer back to the original key. But instead of going to the 5 chord, he drops it back to the 2 chord and does just a diatonic walk up from the 2 chord. 3 chord, A minor 7, 4 chord, B flat major 7, and up to the 5 chord. Then adds a little augmented 5th here, kind of like it's reaching out, and around we go again. To the 3 chord, down to the 6 chord, up to the 2 chord, 1 chord, first inversion, and this is a nice little trick for a turnaround to extend the ending. Publishers would probably write that as a C minor 6, but the reality, it's a half diminished chord. We won't get into that, that's time for another tutorial. To the 5 of the 2 chord, the D7. Melody up here is a flat 9. Then he walks up to the 2 chord, and now it's just a simple walk home. So 2 to 3, up to 4, 5, C11 in this case, and back home and around again to the finale. Here he hits the root of the 4 chord, and then he does a little walk up. At least I do a little walk up. Other arrangers have done variations on the same theme. I tend to go from the 2 to the 3 to the 4 and back down again while the melody continues going up. Here it is in slow-mo. I'm going to backtrack down back to the 3 chord, the A minor, but the melody keeps going and up. I'm on the 2 chord, and I'll just simply drop back to the 1 chord and do it again. Well, I hope you enjoyed my little tutorial. I had a lot of fun taking you into the bridge with the chord changes. I also have this up on YouTube if you want to see my rendition of it. www.davidburt.com. Just slide over on the home page to the other side, click on the little tab solo, and you'll find it in there. Anyway, it's been another slice. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Take care and bye for now.